Before you go any further, look below and click the subscribe button.
Welcome to Savvy the Business Podcast. We are on today with someone that works with Harris County, and we're going to talk a little bit about her journey and some of the things that she has done with her journey getting there and just the growth throughout that process. So, here on Sustainable Growth, we talk about those things because we want to share experiences with you because you may or may not be going through some of the same things that our guests have gone through that can help you um, miss some steps instead of going through those steps. So we are happy to have her on with us today. So, Miss Desiree, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am so good. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about your journey and getting to Harris County and not only getting there, but being there for 21 years.
Yes. It started with me a long time ago. I didn't have many skills. I remember I had a job. I loved this job. It was like, okay, let me just go back a little bit. I worked in retail for a long time and I wanted to get out of retail. And so I found a job working in the office and I loved this job. I was like the scheduler and I liked it. I mean, I really did. But there was really no growth. There was nowhere for me to go from there. And eventually I actually lost that job. I remember losing that job and I was really hurt. I was devastated. It was about money. They didn't want to give me more money and I thought I was worth more. I felt like I had done a good job, but they didn't want to go any further with me. And that left me thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I have 3 small kids. I'm married. My husband was the single breadwinner and we needed more money. It was just, and I really hadn't thought about what my career path was. I was like, what am I going to do? And so at that moment, I realized I didn't really have many skills. So I went to a business school called Bradford School of Business in Houston. And there I learned a lot of the basic secretarial, now we call it administrative assistant skills. And that is what helped me get to Harris County. I learned Excel, Word, increased my typing skills, worked on my writing skills, my communication skills. That really was truly a good business school. And from there, they set me up with an interview with Harris County. And that's how I got there. I started on the evening shift as a typist. And I remember I interviewed, I was nervous. And I remember when they called me and said, you got the job, I was elated. I was so excited. I was like, oh my goodness, I was jumping up and down. I was like, okay, now I have something to work with. I have a job. I wanted to go back to school, but it didn't really seem to fit for where I was in my life at the time. I had 3 kids. We lived in an apartment. We needed money, right? And so this was like the best thing that happened for me. And so I ended up at Harris County 20 years ago, typing on the evening shift, working 3 to 11. And that right there was like the turn for everything for me. And when I got there, I didn't know anyone. And I said to myself, I'm going to learn this job. I'm going to be the best at it. I'm going to learn every position I can. I was so eager to learn and grow. I didn't know a lot except for what I learned from that school, but I had a determination to learn everything that I could. I worked for Harris County District Attorney's Office. I worked in what they call the intake department, and that is the department where when people get arrested, we file the charges. We type up all the charges. We do in custody charges. We do warrants. We do everything. And that is the beginning process of when someone enters the criminal justice system from when they get arrested. And it was exciting, you're right. You know, it was something exciting. It felt rewarding. I felt like I was doing a duty, you know, even though people didn't see what I was doing, I was working behind the scenes. And it's still, let me say, I'm saying it is still very rewarding, but I do something a little different now. And that was 21 years ago. And in April, I started in April of 2022. And I started as a typist, and now I am the division manager running the same division that I started at typing. And so
Wow.
I mean, it has been so rewarding. I tell people this all the time. If you're going to work a job, you want to work somewhere where when you get up in the morning, you're still happy to go. And I tell people that all the time. I am still happy to get up and go there. I like the job. I like the people. I like what I do. And it has been very, very rewarding.
Wow, what an amazing story and journey. And I'm glad that, you know, you really got into that, because it shows not only your determination of, you know what, I'm here, I'm going to stick with, I'm going to do these on the job learning, you know,
Yes.
even though you didn't have that much, those many skills or anything. Hey, let me pay attention. Let me open up my ears and not do all this talking. Let me take my notes. Let me do the things that I have to do to get in the door, get your feet wet, and just start, taking those steps to do what you had to do.
Yes.
And over the time, overseeing that exact same department, even though, a lot of things have changed since then,
Mhm.
but overseeing that department, what does that do, as you look back and say, you know what? I'm glad I decided to stick with it, not only because, like you say, you had the kids, you needed money. I mean, that's just a reality that, we need the money, and it's not just, about the job and everything else. Life happens. We have to, do the things we have to do to take care of those. So as you went on that journey, you're looking back at that, what advice would you give someone that's just starting out, or maybe have done it for a while and just haven't really got to that point of, sticking with it, or either finding what's the right?
How many times have you gone store to store looking for the perfect party accessories and could never find that perfect design? So you had to settle for what you could find. Look no further. Party Elements has the perfect party decor for any occasion. From cupcake toppers, candy buffet themes, plate settings with the option of custom plates, wine glasses, custom pins, greeting cards, and so much more. Get your custom or ready-made party accessories for any occasion from Party Elements. At Party Elements, entertaining has never been so stylish. Reach out to Party Elements at partyelements.net or Etsy at Party Elements by SD.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think when you get in and you learn a position, you have to determine what it is that you really want. I think that's the
Yeah.
most important thing. What do you want? Because at that time, I told you, it was about money, but then it shifted to about, okay, what is my purpose? What is my career path?
Purpose.
And knowing you have to take time to figure out what it is that you want to do. And I knew that I wanted to be a manager. And so once I made that up in my mind, then what I did was I learned everything I could. Like you said, I like how you said it. I kept my mouth closed, and I learned from those
Yeah.
who knew more than I did. I became a student, right?
Mhm.
To this day, I'm still a student. I became
Right.
a student of that department, that division, and I wanted to grow. And I think that's the most important thing, is wanting to grow, knowing what you want, learning, not coming in, even when you have a lot of skills, sometimes you have to still come in and be quiet because it is a different type of environment from where you come from. And so that is the thing that I would tell anyone: become a student of the job, become a student of that career path, and I guarantee you, you will learn. And that's what I look back on. I learned from so many wonderful people, that did not become a division manager, but they were excellent workers. They were leaders. One thing I've learned: you don't have to be a leader to be in management. Does not make you a leader. I learned from people that were leaders. They were admin assistants, but they were leaders. They encouraged you. They helped you. And that's what I say: learn from the people that's the best in the job.
Wow, you said that like just brilliant. I mean, because that is the key, and that takes us into with being a leader, and not necessarily a management supervisor or executive, but just being a leader in whatever area department that you're in. What changes would you like to see in the workplace with leaders?
Oh, that's a great question. I believe that leaders have to engage the people that they're leading. It's not always about do it my way. It's not always about what I say. Leaders have to learn from the people that surround them, because you don't know it all. You don't have it all.
Right.
Being a great leader in the workplace is learning to listen, to engage, and to help people see the greatness that's in them. When you're in as a leader, to me, your whole job is to help build people, help build their self-esteem, let them see what's inside of them, help unlock. Sometimes it's locked up in them, in people, and they can't really see the goodness in them. I mean, I remember a long time people would tell me things about myself that I could not see, right? And when you are a leader in the workplace, you want to build great leaders. You want to encourage people. You want to inspire people to be the best that they can be. I think it's all about working with those people, and I don't want to say those people, but people who don't seem to think that they have it all, right? Because when you put yourself around people and they begin to see their greatness, they begin to see their potential, they realize that they have great skills, then you turn your workplace and the workforce into a wonderful place to work.
It shifts the energy.
Yes.
And some clients that I've worked with my other entity is that, we always say leadership training, but when we do leadership training, we put all of these people in one bucket, check a box, send them to a workshop, they come back, some get it, some don't, and some still like, why was I there? So I think what has to change with I know what has to change with organizations is that there's an assessment that has to be done. And that assessment has to be done by a third party. Mm-hmm. Internally, so many organizations want to use, we'll just put somebody on this project. One, they become biased to certain processes and, various things that's happening within that organization. And how do you know that they're really into what their project is to make sure they're pulling out all of the things that need to be extracted? So having that third party come in to do an assessment to know, okay, we have 4 buckets or 5 buckets or whatever it is of leaders. This is the type of training that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And just, do it over, whatever time frame it may take. But so many put them in one bucket. And I think that is a huge mistake with so many organizations, by dropping everybody in one bucket and not really knowing what each one of the managers really need to help them be successful in their position, and not only in their position, but like you said, to engage with their staff, to be able to notice some things and, okay, how can I help my staff? What do I need to do? Do they need some training? What do we need to do to make all of us successful? And I listen to Gary Vee a lot. A lot of people may not, because he drops the F-bomb quite a bit, but he's just a realist. And it's like, it is what it is. And he says it himself. Out of all the employees that he's not their boss, they're his boss. And I like the way he put that, because I work for them, because they're going to have to tell me what I need to do to keep me on track, so I can do the things that I need to do to make sure this company runs. And I think the same thing with leaders, that they have to recognize that as well, is that work as partners, as team members, and not, I'm the boss.
Right.
You go do this. I mean, granted, yes, you are there for a reason to make sure things get done, but having that mindset of, I'm the boss, will shift not only the energy in those departments and organizations, but it will also increase the productivity. And there's a great chance that's going to eliminate a lot of wasted time. So what are your thoughts on that, of bucketing leaders in all one bucket and not segmenting them out?
I totally agree with you. One of the things about Harris County is that we have, they have different types of classes that they offer for their employees. And one of the things that I do is I notice and I pay attention to the different employees, and I will recommend different classes, because like you said, everyone doesn't need this class. Everyone doesn't need to work on their emotions. Everyone doesn't need to work on it's different skills. So I totally agree with you. You have to, you have to assess where everyone is, and then you have to give everybody their own path to be successful. And I think that's the key. And once you recognize that we're all made different, but we all really want to achieve the same thing, and you find a way to help everyone to achieve their goal, then that is how you be successful. That's how you have great quality of work. I always tell them, I want excellent quality of work. And then people care about the job. They care about what they're producing. And I think that's what you have to do. You're 100% right.
Do you want to be known as the subject matter expert in your industry? Scan the QR code today to take advantage of the $200 discount for a brand assessment. The assessment will give you a summary of how your brand can step up a notch to get noticed. We have been seen in various platforms and have gained credibility and are known as the subject matter expert for digital media and branding. Sign up today for a brand assessment and a one-on-one consultation with me, Melissa Ambers. Don't get left behind. It's time for your brand to stand out.
With the rapid rate of technology, it's grown. It's just every time you think, oh, okay, we have this one thing, boom, here's another, boom, here's another, boom, here's another. It's just rapidly growing. So with that and how technology is moving so quickly, how would you like to see that transformation within organizations on processes, systems that's being used, training, hiring, all these different levels? What would you like to see change because of this rapid growth of technology?
Well, I think technology is a good thing. I think, we're moving into that direction. And even if you don't like change and you don't like disruption, you need to learn it, because we're getting there if we want to or not. And I think it's important that every organization embrace it, and you figure out what your company actually needs when it comes to technology. I've seen my office, because of COVID, once COVID hit, it made everybody look at things differently. I think about a lot of people work from home. I really did not work from home. I went to work more than I stayed home. But what it did was, before COVID, we had paper everywhere. after COVID, technology made us go paperless, right? So we had to do things. When officers filed charges, they had to come into the office. Because of COVID, they were now emailing over their warrants. I mean, and it was something that we had to embrace. And so when you look at where we are going, and we are going into a technology, this is the technology age. Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will write your whole book. And I would hope people would not use it to write a book, but it is taking us there. And we have to figure out what is best for our company. What do we use in technology to help advance what we are doing? Because we have to take advantage of it. We have no choice.
That is definitely not an option. But the unfortunate part is that so many are stuck in status quo where, it worked, it's fine. We don't need to change it. We don't need to shift. Depending on the age of that, I give you a year, but no more than 5, that you're going to be scrambling if the shift is not made. And if you don't know what to do, there are so many organizations out here, companies that can come in, do those assessments, help to figure out. And most importantly, I think it needs to circle back to how they are hiring. Because you want to retain and attract those right employees. And a lot of companies do not have their employee value propositions in place, because that's pretty much, okay, why do I need to work with you? Why do I want to give my life to this organization? Because the reality is that is it. They're spending more time there than they are at home or with their kids. They are at your company. So people want that work-life balance. They want to know, what are you offering? Why are you offering it? Talk to some of the other employees. How do you feel about working here? What are some of the things that happen? And a lot of companies just won't do that. It's more so, okay, if you want to work here, apply, we'll interview you, we'll hire you, and then that's it. When you get into many, it's like they get defensive. And as a manager, what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm sure you've interviewed, many people, but when they want to really get into and dig and ask those questions about the company, even you as a, manager, what is your take on that, and how do you respond?
Oh, that is a good question. I do interview a lot of people. I think we have to, I'm just going to hit back on something you said about how we interview and hire and just bring people in. I think we're living in a day and time, especially being at the DA's office. I remember there was a time when a lot of people wanted to work at the DA's office. Times have changed. I have recently interviewed 2 people who I thought were very, very great people, and I thought they were going to do good. But guess what? They sent me back letters and said, "I'm sorry, I decided to go with someone else." So we have to put the values and show people the benefit of working for a company, show them what we can do for them. It was not always like that. It was more of, I really want to work for that company. But now things have changed, and the company has to do what they can to show a prospective applicant the benefits of working for the DA's office. I try to make them see the benefit of working for the DA's office. Things have changed so much since I became, I was interviewed, and, I was excited about being working in the DA's office. You don't find that too much, like we did back then. People are going to different types of companies. Technology right now, like you said, is booming. People want to work for tech companies. They feel like that's where the money is. Things have changed. I think the value that we put in our employees, like you said, is very, very important. And even when I think about where we are in the DA's office, we still have a long ways to go with that, because you want to make people feel valued. You want them to feel that this is the right place for you. I have this to offer for you, more than just the retirement, because working with the county is a great retirement benefits, but people want to know, what can you do for me right now today? Why should I work with you? Why should things have changed, right? I mean, when I think about that, it has changed. And so having values in place and really selling your company to individual and showing them the importance of what you have to offer. This is what I'm going to do for you. It's very important. If you're not doing that, you're not going to get the quality of person that you want in your company.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is that can
who you surround yourself with really does matter. The people you associate with and spend time with have a huge impact on who you become and what you do in your life. Hi, my name is Jeff Hagee, and I want to tell you about my Inner Circle Mastermind group. This is a group that's designed to surround you with like-minded high achievers who will help you to think bigger and amplify the performance of your business and your life while tearing down all the barriers that are holding you back. A mastermind is the fastest way to get you to the next level. If you're ready to network and connect with other successful entrepreneurs and influencers, go to coachhagee.com/mastermind.
Make a person shift their decision about an organization is what systems you're using. Because if you're still manual, if you're still, using, okay, we're going to do Excel for every single thing and not have, other systems in place, because they're looking at, oh, you fixing to work me hard. No, I don't want to be there. They want to know, what systems are you using? Or is it cloud-based? Is it, on your servers? How are you utilizing these systems? Because they're looking at, a lot of companies want you to come in and do work, but they don't want to pay.
Right.
And then, you don't have any benefits or anything to kind of, weigh it. But, and then, when you're looking at that, a candidate could be like, everything else look good on paper, but they could be excited, ready to go. You get excited. Okay, cool. I found my person. And then when we start talking about systems and processes and how people work, they, all right, hold on, wait a minute, and you can easily shift that energy in that interview process. I mean, you could go all the way to bringing them in and walking them around the office. And when they see what the office look like, they're not coming back that next day or not coming back from lunch. So it's really not only putting it on paper, but also showing what you're actually doing. Action speaks louder than words. Even though that's an old saying, it's still true today. So you could put a really great EVP together, and then all of a sudden when they come in that office, it's nowhere near what was written on that sheet of paper. So I think it's no different than your mission statement. Just like you want to attract your customer, you want to attract your employees.
Yes, I agree. And when I think back and when I think about the county and the DA's office, we're behind. It has been like that. It is. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, we are catching up, but the county, when you're looking at governmental systems, they are always behind. I mean, we are progressing, but we are behind. The good thing is that we do have our own in-house in the DA's office, where we do have people creating new systems. We get an idea and we say, can we do this in a new system? Can't you put something together? And so we do have our IT people that work predominantly for the DA's office to create new systems. And so we are growing and we are getting there, but I mean, the truth is the truth. We are a little behind, but you are right. When people come in and they see that we're not, y'all don't use that yet? Right. So, I mean, I totally agree with you. When people see it and people will come in and start working and they're like, you're still doing this. I can remember, I'll tell you this, when this is how far we were behind. In 2006, we were still using typewriters. Now think about that.
2006, 96?
We were typing folders.
Oh, wow.
Instead of making labels to put on folders. So
Wow.
exactly. And then when we did switch over to doing labels, people would still use the typewriter, so much so that I had to take the typewriters off the desk and say, hey, stop using it, because we get accustomed and we don't
Right.
want to change. And so our systems have been a little slow. I can say though that we are doing a little better. But you are so right when it comes to systems. People want to know, let's work smarter, not harder. I think
Yes.
that may be a cliche, but that is so true.
Yes, it is. So, well, thank you so much for chatting with me. Do you have any lasting words for anyone that is as a manager that is looking to interview, that's looking for that job, and not being shy about asking questions? What's motivation and encouragement would you have for someone that's still in that space of I'm not sure, quite what to do?
I would say to that person that you have to get to know what you want. I mean, I think it's very important that you know what you want, because if you don't know, then how can someone really help you? I
Wow.
think that is the most important. Someone said to me one time, they said, if somebody asked you, what do you need? Could you answer that question? You say you want, for instance, if I wanted to start a business and I needed money and somebody said, well, what do you need? You have to know what you need. You have to know what you want. And once you know what you want, then you become a student of that. You learn,
Yeah.
you educate yourself, and education is not always about going back to school. The age that we live in is right at your fingertips. So you can learn and educate yourself on what it is that you have made up in your mind that you want to do. You stay focused, you stay determined, and I guarantee you that if you do those things, become a student, stay focused, stay determined, and go after what you want, you will receive it. You just have to believe in yourself, and you will see the results of that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. You're so very welcome. Thank you.
Follow us on our Instagram at Savvy Mag Biz and on our YouTube channel, Savvy the Business Podcast. Do you want your business in front of an international audience? Advertise with us today. Savvy the Business Podcast. Send us an email at media@savvymag.biz. That's media@savvymag.biz. Send it today. Don't get left out. Thank you for joining us on Savvy the Business Podcast. If you want to be a guest, send an email to media@savvymag.biz. That's media@savvymag.biz. Don't miss out on the opportunity to be heard by millions.